All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of Pteranodon Media's Show and Tell. What the hell? And today you are probably wondering why there are two Mecha, Mecha, Mika, NECA, no, Mecha Godzilla figures right here. And so I wanted to point out that I did some modifications to one of these Mega Godzillas. Which one is it? It's this one right here. And I have this as a example of what we started off with. This is your Bandai Godzilla. This is articulation 1. No articulation of the tail, but there's some hip articulation. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 points of articulation, right? That's it. So I decided to do some experimenting and playing around. What my problem with this particular Mecha Godzilla here is that when he's always in this weird come give me a hug pose, or he's like shooting both people this way and that. So I wanted to mess around with, I thought out of all the Bandai Godzilla figures, since he's a robot, there's going to be some sacrifice with regard to the overall aesthetic, but not very much, especially since he's a robot and it doesn't really matter. And as you can see, here is the end result. I'm going to show you an example of how you can see the joints inside. And oops, his arm fell off, but there, put it right back on. And he is way more posable than before, You give him, I'm not going to go and buy one of those monster art figures and spend a lot of money doing that. So you can give him these more dynamic poses. You can put his hand straight up. You can twist this around, do his special little hand missile thing. It doesn't do it exactly how he does it, but it's a close representation. So I'm happy with it. Yeah, the gaps are a little bit big, and I may do some more stuff to fill in with the leftover pieces or plastic, or do some painting, but I'm really satisfied with it overall. A lot of figures with articulation do suffer from having too many gaps. Of course, these are a little bit big, but I may come back to it and fix it later. I was thinking of actually giving it some paint washes, but I actually do like the way Bandai gave this particular Mechagodzilla a paint job. What I could do is give it some washes to give it some more, make those parts stand out. But what I would have liked to have done is figure out a way to do his flying mode with the head sticking up, but I really couldn't figure out a way that could do that. That would be sacrificing too much of that right there. But I'm happy as is. I mean, this is something I spent probably about, $14 for. And the joints I got from some really cheap knockoff dollar store Lego pieces. And just found the right. It was kind of a pain in the ass to try to hold everything all together and make sure everything was going to be perfect and find the placement of these areas. So I may go back in and do some more work with it. I may actually decide what I could do is also put some wires in there, give them that wired look, and I could do more of them and have them do the YMCA thing. So, but yeah, this is just now you're not going to get that perfect. You're not going to get... It's a funny little pose. It's not like he was a very dynamic character, but still better. I could stand him up straight now. What I could do is have him just stand here like this. I could have him do that now. Have him look around. Have him look imposing and menacing. As opposed to that. That's already pre-posed. So, let's just to give you an example, let me bust out a Godzilla here, which is, and I actually improved on the height just a little bit, but still out of scale, but works for me. You give him one hand out like that. There you go. Just give you an idea of how he's going to look. So yeah, you could. It's very, if you put the time and effort to do something like this, you can make it happen. But it was just a simple, quick thing for me. Ended up taking a few hours just to wait for the glue to dry and also to experiment and see where exactly the placement would be, because there's times where I had to actually redo it because I didn't have enough space for the actual joint to move. I still don't, but it still would have sacrificed, it would have an even bigger gap, if you know what I mean. So but anyway, there is like my articulated Mecha Godzilla, cheap articulated $15 Mecha Godzilla that can do a very nice little dance pose moves here. Anyway, but yeah, if you have any questions about it as far as what sort of glue or whatever, just feel free to put some comments or whatever below. And you could actually hit me up on Facebook, Pteranodon Media, or on Instagram as well. You can find me there. There's been I actually had a lot of responses recently on a Facebook Godzilla group when I showed off a lot of the previous entries into the Show and Tell What the Hell custom Godzilla line. Anyway, folks, that was my articulated Mecha Godzilla. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. We'll see you later on.